I'm going to be giving a demonstration of the 10 and 20 method in this video, and it begins with making sure you have your nasal and your inion marked, as well as your preauriculars, which is just in front of the ear. And then you take your tape measure. You measure from the inion back to, or from the nasion to the inion, and you measured that, and I'm getting 36 inches. So I'm going to take the 36 inches, take 10% of that, that's 3.6, measure up from the nasion, 3.6 centimeters. Turn around the head and do the same thing. Measure up from the inion, 3.6. It'll be right there. All right. And then you measure from what is called your FZ to your PZ. From your PZ in the back all the way to your FZ. And I'm getting 30 inches, or 30 centimeters. So I take half of the 30 centimeters, which would be 15 centimeters, and I mark that spot at the top of the head, and that gives me my CZ. Then I take half of that 15, which would be 7.5 centimeters, and I mark right there between the PZ and the CZ, and then I come to the other side and I mark 7.5. And that gives me my FZ. So now I have my first chain completed. Goes from the front to the back. Gives me my FZ. No, I'm sorry. FPZ, my FC, my CZ, my PZ on the back, and then my OZ. So now I begin chain 2 by starting at the preauricular. Measuring up, making sure I'm crossing the CZ, going all the way to the other side. And this is where you might need both your hands for this. And I'm getting 36 centimeters. Take 10% of that 36, it's 3.6 once again. And let's see, 3.6. There. On the other side, you do the same thing, 3.6 centimeters. Excellent. And now you have your T3 on this side, and then your T4 is on this side. So now you measure from your T3 to your T4, making sure once again you're going through that CZ. I'm getting 28 inches. Actually, let me make sure I got that right. Yeah, 28 inches. So I'm going to take half of that 28. Half 28 is 14. that crosses my CZ, and then I take half of the 14, which should be 7, and I mark right there. So now I have my C3 on this side, and my T3 and my CZ. Then I come on the other side, and from my CZ to my T4, so now I measure half of my 14 centimeters. I get 7 right there. Mark that, and that gives you your C4. So now the second chain is complete. Now I move on to the circumference right here. I'm going to make this line a little bit more defined, and I'm going to cross it. And then I'm going to take my tape measure, place the 0 on the FPZ, go all the way around the head, making sure you're going through the OZ in the back. And I got 55 inches. So once you get the 55 inches, you take 10%. Then you take half of the 5%, which 10% would be 10% would be 5.5, and then half of 5.5 would be 2.75. And then you measure from your FPZ 2.75. 2.75. Right there. Just gonna make that mark right there. And then do it again over on this side, 2.75. Then you cross them to be equal with that line. Alright, so this gives you your FP1 and your FP2 on this side. So now I'm going to begin measuring around the head, placing my 0 on FP1, going through T3, trying to make that line up. Measure your 10% measurement, which is 5.5, and I'm going to mark that right there. Just my 5.5. Then I